They rise from the desert like, well, like time's own memory. Giants of stone, carved not just by hand, it feels like, but by obsession, by mystery, and maybe something more.
It's an incredible image.
You have the Great Pyramid, almost perfect in its alignment, and the Sphinx just gazing out, with those cheeks that look almost rain-scoured.
Yeah.
We call them tombs, generally. But no pharaohs have actually been definitively found inside.
Right. Which is the first big question mark.
Questions really echoing down all those passageways.
So today, we're descending deep into the sands of time. This deep dive is all about exploring these ancient structures, not just looking at them as relics, but really as profound riddles.
Okay.
Our mission, if you like, is to unpack some of the surprising facts, the compelling theories that really challenge our standard understanding of ancient Egypt.
Pushing the boundaries a bit.
Exactly, pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew.
Okay, so where are we getting this information? Because there's so many theories out there.
Well, we've pulled from a really diverse stack of sources for this. Everything from the latest archaeological scans, the high-tech stuff, right, and some groundbreaking geological studies, but also looking back at ancient mathematical texts, analyses of global mythologies.
So a real mix of old and new.
Precisely. It's a journey connecting that cutting-edge research with these age-old enigmas, hopefully offering a unique perspective.
Think of this maybe as your essential shortcut.
Yeah.
To getting really well informed about these timeless wonders.
Yeah, we're aiming for those aha moments.
Right. Connecting the dots between bits of info that might seem separate at first glance.
And offering multiple perspectives because, let's face it, these mysteries continue to captivate us for a reason. There isn't always one simple answer.
Okay, so let's start with that conventional narrative. We think we know the story. Pyramids are tombs. But you're saying that starts to unravel pretty quickly.
It really does.
I mean, what I found striking when I first learned it was that fact. No pharaoh definitively found inside a Giza pyramid. That shifts your perspective immediately, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's like finding this monumental bank vault, right?
Yeah.
But it's completely empty.
Yeah.
The common perception, is burial. A sacred place for the pharaohs caught their soul or spirit to live on.
Okay.
And for the body, stored with treasures for the afterlife. That's the standard view. But then you look at the sheer scale, the precision. The Great Pyramid of Giza alone used, 6 million tons of stone?
6 million tons. It's hard to even picture.
It is. And it's aligned to true north with an error of just 3 arc minutes. Tiny.
And the base.
Yeah, that massive 13-acre platform. Leveled to within 1 inch.
Wow.
That level of precision on that kind of colossal scale, it's just, it's astonishing.
And there's the timeline, right? It wasn't a slow, gradual thing.
No, not at all. You see this incredibly rapid evolution. You start with Djoser's Step Pyramid, the earliest really big stone building.
Around 60 meters tall.
Roughly, 62 meters. Built around 2670 to 2650 BCE, a huge achievement for its time. Then, almost unbelievably, within a single dynasty, you get Sneferu building 3 pyramids. Three. Culminating in the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's like this intense, almost feverish obsession with this specific type of massive, precise architecture.
So this massive push.
Why?
And then what happened?
And then, almost as abruptly, the building of these truly colossal pyramids just declined. Significantly.
Why?
Well, several factors. The immense cost, obviously, the sheer logistics.
Right.
And eventually, they realized how vulnerable they were to tomb robbers.
Oh, okay. So that led to the Valley of the Kings, hidden tombs.
Exactly. Shift in strategy. But it forces us back to that question. What was their true primary purpose if it wasn't only burial?
Why that brief, intense burst?
Yes. Why such complexity, such monumental effort, followed by this dramatic decrease in scale and ambition? It's still a profound puzzle for researchers.
Right. It really does make you wonder. So, okay, if they weren't just tombs, and given that scale and precision, how on earth did they build them?
The million-ton question.
Yeah. No cranes, no diesel engines.
Yeah.
Just manpower, math, and maybe some secrets we've lost.
That's what many theories explore.
And yet, that platform, leveled within an inch across 13 acres. It's mind-boggling.
Mainstream Egyptology credits immense, highly organized manpower, sophisticated mathematics for the time, and very practical material science.
Okay, break that down. What are the accepted ideas?
So the widely accepted theories involve some pretty ingenious systems, ramps, for instance.
Made of what? Just Sand?
Likely rubble, mud brick, maybe timber, built incrementally as the pyramid rose.
Yeah.
And to move the stones on the ground, they used sledges, big wooden sledges.
They just drag them. Those huge blocks.
Well, experiments have shown that wetting the sand in front of the sledge or maybe using fat as a lubricant dramatically reduces friction.
Ah, makes sense.
So it becomes feasible just about to move even those massive blocks with enough people pulling in a coordinated way. Thousands of people.
And the math. How do they get those perfect angles and alignments without modern tools?
Their grasp of practical geometry was, frankly, incredible. They used something similar to what we call Pythagorean rope triangles.
Like the 3-4-5 triangle.
Exactly. A rope with 12 knots equally spaced. Stretch it into a 3-4-5 triangle, and the corner between the 3 and 4 sides is a perfect right angle every time.
Simple but effective.
Very elegant, practical, absolutely crucial for laying out those vast bases and ensuring the corners were perfectly square, even on that huge scale.
And the materials themselves, where do they come from?
Huge distances often. Limestone blocks the bulk of it, some up to 15 tons, quarried locally, but also finer limestone from Tura across the Nile.
Okay.
And then the granite. For inner chambers, sarcophagi weighing up to 70 tons, that came all the way from Aswan, hundreds of miles south.
Transported by boat.
Yes, transported by boat down the Nile. Quarrying it was another challenge. For softer stone like limestone, copper chisels, drills, saws worked.
But granite's much harder.
Much harder. They had to use incredibly laborious methods. Pounding it with harder dolerite balls, drilling with copper tubes and abrasive sand, like quartz sand, as the cutting agent.
Wow. Just the sheer time and effort.
Monumental. Truly.
And we actually have proof of this transport, right? That logbook.
Yes. That was an amazing discovery. In 2013, Merer's logbook, he was an official about 4,500 years ago.
And what did it say?
It describes, in detail, transporting limestone blocks from the Tura quarries to Giza. By boat, along the Nile, and through a system of canals. Took about 4 days per trip.
Incredible. Real-time evidence of this massive operation.
It really brings it to life. Shows the high level of organization, and it confirms something important about the workforce.
Which is?
They weren't slaves, not like in the movies.
Really?
No. Sources confirm tens of thousands of skilled laborers. They were paid, often in rations like bread and beer. They worked in organized shifts, highly coordinated.
So a national project almost.
Absolutely. A project of human coordination and engineering skill that honestly still beggars belief today.
And just when you think, okay, we've got a handle on it, new discoveries pop up.
Always. Science keeps moving, like that 2024 study from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
What did they find?
Led by Professor Emin Ghanem, they mapped this long-lost branch of the Nile. Huge branch, 64 kilometers long.
Wow. Where was it?
Right alongside the pyramid fields. They named it the Aramat branch. Aramat means pyramids in Arabic.
So the river flowed much closer.
Much closer. It bordered 31 pyramids, built between about 4,700 and 3,700 years ago. It's now hidden under farmland and desert sand.
That changes things, doesn't it? For transport.
Fundamentally. It explains the location of so many pyramids in what's now pretty dry terrain. It suggests this incredible mastery of hydroengineering.
Using the river and canals.
Exactly. Elevating their capabilities far beyond just simple ramps and brute force. It suggests a really sophisticated, integrated system.
And there are even more radical ideas about water.
Well, yes. Dr. Xavier Landreau and his team have proposed a pretty bold theory for Djoser's step pyramid.
The oldest one.
Right. They suggest a hydraulic lift system.
A hydraulic lift. How would that work?
The idea is that stones could have been raised up through the center of the structure, kind of volcano fashion, as they put it, using water pressure.
Okay, that sounds ambitious for the time. What's the evidence?
Their theory points to needing sophisticated water management structures nearby, like the Gizr el-Mudir, this huge ancient dam-like structure, and a dry moat system, possibly for water treatment or management. They also link it to the climate back then, the Green Sahara period. More rainfall.
Providing the water needed.
Potentially. It points to a level of engineering thinking that, well, we might be underestimating.
And other ideas about how they got stones up. Internal ramps.
Yes, that's another theory, championed by Jean-Pierre Houdin for the Great Pyramid, the idea of an internal ramp spiraling up inside the pyramid itself.
Instead of a huge external one.
Exactly. It solves the problem of where the material for a massive external ramp went. Workers could haul blocks up more safely, shielded from the sun.
Is there evidence for that?
No definitive proof, but some anomalies detected in stands, some notches on the outside, could potentially support it. It's still debated.
So every discovery, every theory, it just adds layers, doesn't it? More questions.
Precisely. And that extends to what might be inside or under these structures.
You mentioned voids found in scans.
Yes, particularly in the Great Pyramid. Scans have revealed tantalizing voids, hints of maybe undiscovered chambers, a large corridor-like space above the Grand Gallery, maybe a subterranean room beneath the base that we knew about but perhaps wasn't fully understood.
So what do people think they are? Just construction gaps?
Some argue yes, just structural features, relieving stress, or part of the building process. Others are convinced they're hiding something fundamental.
Like a puzzle box.
Exactly. Built not just for one purpose, maybe, but designed for future discovery, too.
And then there are these more recent, quite dramatic claims about what lies under Giza.
Indeed. Claims from Italian and Scottish archaeologists Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi. They're talking about a potential second hidden city.
Under the pyramids? How deep?
They suggest large underground structures, possibly 2,000 feet, that's 600 meters deep, below Khafre initially and now Menkaure.
What kind of structures?
They describe finding massive pillar-like formations, spiraling pathways, even two huge cube-shaped chambers, maybe 80 meters on a side.
80 meters, that's enormous.
Huge. And they believe similar access points might exist under all three main pyramids, linking them into a vast subterranean complex.
And maybe even deeper?
They speculate about structures potentially 4,000 feet down. That's over 1,200 meters.
4,000 feet. It's almost hard to comprehend. A mile deep, potentially, under Giza.
Yeah.
If that's true, it dwarfs anything we imagined for ancient civilizations.
It's an extraordinary claim.
What kind of technology are they using to even suggest this? And how solid is it?
Well, that's where the debate comes in. It's based on ground-penetrating radar and other scanning techniques, but the depths involved are extreme.
So skepticism from the mainstream.
Oh, absolutely. Prominent Egyptologists like Dr. Zahi Hawass have questioned whether the technology can reliably scan that deep. And, crucially, they point out, the findings haven't gone through rigorous peer review yet.
Okay, that's important context.
Very. But Biondi defends the data. He claims a 90% probability for their findings and stands by the idea that the pyramids we see are, quote, merely the tip of the iceberg.
Wow. Tip of the iceberg. It certainly challenges you to think differently.
It does, and it opens the door to even more, well, out there theories. If these structures are so complex, maybe they weren't just tombs or storage.
Like what?
Well, some theories propose acoustic chambers designed to resonate sound, or even ancient energy resonators, maybe using materials we don't fully understand, like ancient geopolymers, a kind of early concrete.
Okay, that sounds pretty far-fetched for many people.
It does sound far-fetched, absolutely. But you have researchers like Graham Hancock who speculate along these lines. Was the Great Pyramid, for example, some kind of device, a cosmic riddle encoded in stone?
And this ties into ideas about truly ancient origins, doesn't it? Beyond dynastic Egypt.
Exactly. The researchers behind the underground city claims, Malanga and Biondi, they theorize these hidden structures. Those pillars under Menkaure, for instance, could be incredibly old,
Old.
approximately 38,000 years old.
38,000.
Yes. Built, they suggest, by a lost civilization that was wiped out by some global cataclysm.
Like a comet impact. Around when?
Possibly a comet, yeah. Around 12,800 years ago, which lines up strikingly with the Younger Dryas period.
That sudden cold snap.
Exactly. A time of dramatic, rapid global cooling. Some theories link it to a comet impact, or maybe massive meltwater floods from glaciers, huge environmental upheaval, significant sea level rise.
And that connects to the Sphinx.
That's where it gets really compelling. You have geologist Robert Schoch's controversial work.
The weathering.
Exactly. He argues the deep vertical weathering on the Sphinx enclosure walls isn't from wind and sand. It looks like erosion from heavy rainfall over a long period.
And a Sahara wasn't always desert.
Precisely. Schoch believes this means the Sphinx must dramatically predate dynastic Egypt, maybe by 7,000 years or more, possibly built during that wetter, Younger Dryas period when the Sahara was green.
Okay, if that's true,
Yeah.
that rewrites everything. The timeline of civilization.
Completely. Imagine. Maybe Pharaoh Khufu didn't commission the Sphinx from scratch. Maybe he inherited it.
Renovating.
Yeah, renovated a much older, already sacred monument. It's a pattern you actually see elsewhere on the plateau, building new structures on top of, or incorporating something clearly much older and already considered sacred.
This fits with people like Hancock and Robert Bauval too, right?
Yeah.
Linking Giza to the stars A lost civilization.
Yes, their theories propose Giza's monuments are aligned with constellations, particularly Orion, as they appeared thousands of years earlier, suggesting a lost advanced civilization with sophisticated astronomical and building knowledge.
And the Hall of Records.
That's part of the speculation, too. A legendary chamber, perhaps hidden under the Sphinx or somewhere on the plateau, containing the records, the wisdom of this lost age.
It forces you to ask, yeah, what if these weren't just buildings as we think of them? What if they were designed to store and transmit knowledge across huge timescales?
It's a fascinating possibility, and what's remarkable is how certain knowledge systems seem to echo globally.
Like numbers appearing in myths everywhere.
Exactly. Think about the precession of the equinoxes.
The Earth's wobble.
Right, that slow wobble on its axis. It changes which star is the pole star over long periods, and it shifts the zodiac constellation that rises behind the sun on the spring equinox.
And that cycle is really long, isn't it?
Incredibly long, about 26,000 years to complete one full cycle. More precisely, 25,920 years.
How fast does it move?
It shifts incredibly slowly, just 1 degree every 72 years. So slow, it's almost impossible to notice accurately in one lifetime without long-term accumulated records.
So how could ancient people possibly know about it?
That's the question raised by Giorgio de Santillana and Hertha Foundation in their book, Hamlet's Mill. They argue compellingly that knowledge of precession is thousands of years older than mainstream history admits. Suggesting, as they put it, an unbelievable ancestor civilization that painstakingly worked it out and encoded it.
Encoded it where?
In myths, in sacred numbers that appear again and again worldwide.
Like which numbers?
Well, 72 is key, that number of years per degree of precession. It pops up everywhere. In Egypt, the 72 conspirators who kill Osiris. Then you see 432,000, a multiple of 72 in the Hindu Rig Veda, describing ages of the world.
Okay.
Or look at Angkor Thom in Cambodia, those famous bridges lined with statues, 54 figures on each side, total 108.
108 is
72 plus half of 72, which is 36. It keeps coming back to that base number system related to precession.
Is that just coincidence? Or, like you said, is it memory, encoded in stories?
It really makes you pause, doesn't it? How could cultures separated by vast distances and time share these specific mathematical echoes? It strongly hints at a common source of ancient knowledge.
Passed down how?
Perhaps through oral traditions, through myths? Think about the Egyptian god Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing. There's a myth where he discusses writing with a pharaoh, and the pharaoh worries that writing will destroy the art of memory.
Because people won't need to remember things themselves.
Exactly. It highlights how powerful oral traditions and storytelling could be for preserving complex information across millennia, maybe even through cataclysms.
Like the flood myths.
Precisely. That worldwide tradition of a global cataclysm, especially flood myths, aligns remarkably well with the end of the Younger Dryas around 12,800 years ago.
Which involved massive sea level rise.
Huge sea level rise, land submergence, a truly devastating event for any coastal or low-lying civilizations. If knowledge was embedded in stories, in myths, in stone monuments perhaps designed to last, it could have survived.
The Egyptians talked about it first time, didn't they? Zep Tepi.
Yes, Zep Tepi. A mythical golden age when gods walked the earth, brought civilization and wisdom, often followed by a great flood in the stories. And you hear echoes of 7 sages, or wise ones, bringing knowledge after the cataclysm in cultures all over the world.
So bringing it all together, what does this mean for how we look at Giza today? You have these scans suggesting maybe a hidden city underneath.
Right. Malanga and Biondi's claims, spiral tunnels, huge chambers, maybe that hall of records.
And these new theories about construction, like hydraulic lifts for Djoser's pyramid.
Powered by a water moat, yeah. It's a profound shift in perspective, if true.
It feels like the past isn't really gone, is it? It's just buried.
And maybe it's waking up. Every new discovery seems to just peel back another layer, asking another question.
It highlights that split in how people approach this, doesn't it?
Definitely. You have mainstream Egyptology, which rightly insists on hard empirical evidence. Verifiable facts, established timelines, finds in the ground.
Which is crucial.
Absolutely essential. Then you have alternative theories, which often focus more on patterns, anomalies, possibilities. They look at the myths, the mathematics, the alignments, and ask, what if?
Pushing the boundaries.
Pushing boundaries, connecting dots, sometimes speculating quite far beyond the concrete evidence, daring us to imagine more.
But both sides are searching for truth in their own way.
I think so, yes. Driven by a fundamental quest to understand. But where one approach sees, a clear inscription that says this is a tomb for Pharaoh X, the other sees the lack of a body, the incredible precision, the astronomical alignments, and feels a deeper intuition, a sense of enduring mystery.
So who's right?
Maybe both contribute something valuable. Maybe the truth is more complex than either single perspective allows. Or maybe, in some ways, we're still missing the biggest picture entirely.
It is humbling, isn't it?
It's incredibly humbling. Despite centuries of study, all our modern technology, these structures remain profound mysteries.
Maybe. Maybe they weren't just built to be understood back then.
It's a fascinating thought.
Maybe they were built to make us, thousands of years later, keep wondering, keep questioning, keep pushing our own boundaries.
Like riddles left in stone.
Exactly. Not just relics, but riddles left by minds. Well, maybe not so unlike ours, in some ways. Obsessed with time, with the stars, with finding something eternal.
In the shadow of these giants, yeah, we are humbled. Not just by what we know, but by how much we still clearly don't know.
They aren't just stone, they're questions. Enduring questions.
Thank you for walking the sands of time with us on this deep dive into the pyramids and the Sphinx. It's been fascinating.
It really has. Stay curious, everyone. Stay grounded in the evidence, but keep asking the big questions. And stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we'll explore another captivating mystery from our shared past.